In this video, I'll be showing you guys how to create custom entities in Microsoft Dynamics CRM 2011. You'll see here that I have Microsoft Dynamics CRM already pulled up, actually logged into my sample account. This is an off-premise server, meaning it's hosted actually at Microsoft.com at crm.dynamics.com. And you'll see here that this is out of the box, brand new build, which means that it comes with a very defaulted solution. This is like the cereal box solution. Comes with every single entity you would expect there to be out of the box. But most people have to tailor it, customize it, to build it to their needs or their specific company or their business cycle. So you have here my work, you have customers, you have sales, service, and all these things are nice and dandy, but suppose you want a new entity. Suppose that your business cycle involves speaking with contractors or um, you know vendors or something of that nature. You're going to want to have an entity just to collect that particular information and not to mix it with contacts or leads or accounts, right? Because these are the three primary out-of-the-box entities. So what is an entity? An entity is basically a container that holds custom data. Uh, so more or less, to explain it to you, is if I go to contacts, right, this is my contacts entity, and when I click on new, you'll be able to see that a form is going to pop up, and I'm going to be able to fill out this form and add specific information about this particular person, this contact, first name, last name, title, company, email, etc. So this is just a basic outline for a contact. Now you see here the last name is required, and first name is business recommended. That's what that little blue checkbox is. Um, and you can actually create these forms yourself and edit them and add more fields. So I just wanted to jump into that and teach people how to create their own custom entities. So let's create a custom entity. Um, I'm going to use contractors or I'm going to use vendors as an example, right? So in CRM, on the very bottom, your workplace, you're going to see you have a little menu, and the very last thing is settings. So I'm going to click on settings, and in settings, you'll see here that you have a bunch of back-end stuff such as system and business, and this is where you make modifications to your CRM, whether it be configuration or things of that nature. So I'm going to click on customizations, and I'm going to click on customize the system. So this is your central hub. This is basically the brain of CRM. This is where you make changes and you publish them and apply them, and they'll be available server-wide for all your users or just for you. You'll see here that I'm going to expand the entities tree, and you're going to see every single entity or container that CRM comes with out of the box. So now I want to add my own entities in here. So let's create an entity. So in order to do that, once you click on entities, you'll see here that the menus vary. They change whenever you click something. So when you click on entities, the menu will change and it'll allow you to select entities or create a new one by clicking on new. So I'm just going to click on new, and I'm going to choose a display name for this entity, and I'm going to call it vendors. For plural name, I'll use vendors as well. You'll see here that the name where it says new underscore vendors, this is a hidden name. This is how CRM is going to be kind of cataloging this. In a description, I'm going to write vendors entity for my new CRM build. I'm not going to define this as an activity entity because this is not something we're going to be using records that we're actually going to do work with. This is going to be more of a pool for information. What I mean by that is if you define it as an activity, that means that any entry in this entity is going to be treated as an activity. It's going to be attached to other records. There's a whole different flow cycle to this. But I'm going to treat this as just as a pool for information. It's going to be a repository for new items, in this case vendors. And the ownership is going to be a user or a team. That means you can select organization or user or a team. Organization means that my company name will own the record, or user or a team is much better because if you have John and Jane working and Jane creates a vendor and John creates a vendor, they're going to retain ownership. You're going to know that that vendor belongs to them, which is very useful in reports, and it's a very big staple. So following that, we're asked now, where should this entity be displayed? Should it be displayed in Workplace tab, Sales, Service, Marketing, or Settings? We're talking about these tabs right here to the bottom left, and I'm going to want this to probably be displayed in the Workplace. Communication and collaboration over here, it's asking me what kind of communication and collaboration things I want attached to these particular people. So suppose I have a vendor named John. I want to be able to add notes to him and include attachments, which is automatically checked. I want to create activities. I want to be able to click on add and click on email or click on calendar meeting. Connection, sending email. We're going to add in here sending email as well. Document management, I don't have SharePoint integrated on this. This is just a sample machine, so I'm going to leave document management alone. That's a whole separate topic. And as far as queues, I'm not going to add that in there either. I'm going to get to queues in a whole other video perhaps. It's a whole other topic, what queues are. So we're going to leave the data duplicate detection available, and we'll check auditing just in case someone changes a field. We want to be able to see what was in that field previously, which is very good for catching human errors and mistakes. I'm going to remove the reading pane in CRM for Outlook because I won't be using it. I'm only going to be using the web-based portal of CRM using Internet Explorer. And that's it. I think I'm pretty much done with just building the settings for this entity. So now I'm going to click on Save, and it's going to create the entity. That takes a couple of seconds. Even on premise, usually it lags a little bit. It always takes some time because it has to publish all these different things and create all these relationships within the actual server. Or if you're using a hosted solution like I am, it's actually creating different things in the part of your server, because many people are in your SQL database, so it's creating all these different entries and connections and fields, and there's absolutely common fields. All right, so now it's done. Now you'll see that all the common tabs are now available. I'm able to start creating things with my vendors. So I'm going to click on Forms, right? And there's going to be two default forms here. There's going to be a main and a mobile form. And I'm not going to be working with the mobile form because it's not for me. I'm not going to use my phone or any mobile device to access this entity. I'm just going to be using my web browser. So I'm going to go to my main form by double-clicking on it. And you're going to see right now what the form is going to look like. And we'll be able to make changes to it, right? So we're talking here about vendors. And you'll see here that the only fields that exist right now is what is the vendor's name and who is the owner. And the owner gets automatically filled in, and name is required because without the name, you can't save the record. So let's say we want to collect some more information, right? So I'm going to click on the New Field button down here. And I'm going to say vendor type. And I'm going to make this requirement level recommended. And the description, I'm going to write type of vendor. Not that you really need a description, but it's nice to have. This has nothing to do with your form, by the way. And now I get to choose what I want this particular field to be. Now these fields, you have multiple different fields here. You have a single line of text, similar to the name field. You have an option set where you can make multiple selections. Pick a single selection from multiple selections. This is also known as a combo box. We have the two options, which is a yes or no. Whole number, floating point number, decimal number, currency, which is for money only, multiple lines of text, date and time, and lookup, which I'm not going to get into. Lookup is very powerful, but it's not for what we're doing right now. I'm going to create an option set. And the type of vendor, I'm going to say, I'm not going to... Existing option set is when you create a global option set, you can actually pick, so you never have to type them over and over and over again. I'm not going to get to that just yet. I'm actually going to type this in. So I'm going to create options, and I'm going to say new vendor, existing vendor, and expired vendor. Again, this is just a bunch of things in here that I'm adding. Absolutely don't work with vendors, not that I even know. I just thought of a quick sample. I'm going to choose a default value for this, so when you first open the form, it's going to immediately bubble in one of these options, and it's going to bubble in new vendor. Let's make another field. Let's click on Save and New, and it's going to reopen the same exact window and ask us what is the next thing you want to fill in. Let's say I'm going to put in budget, and I'm going to make budget a currency field, and I'm going to make it required. So you're not going to be able to save the record without having that budget in there. And I'm going to click on Save and New. And we're going to be able to make as many fields as we want. We can make millions of fields. It really all depends. What else can we collect about our vendor? Let's add in here also a let's add a date and time. Let's add in here Do we need date and time? What could I possibly use it for? I mean, I know what I use it for other entities, but when I create this sample, what can I really use date and time for? Um, mm, Expiration date. Why not? Let's add date only. Great. All right, let's save and close this because I'm running out of ideas for fields. I just wanted to introduce you to creating a new entity. Immediately after I save it and close it, you'll see my new fields are now going to be existing in here. I'm going to be able to put them in this form by just dragging them, which is the beauty of this. It's a what you see is what you get kind of flow, where you just drag and drop what you want. So below name, I'm going to add vendor type, and I'm also going to add budget. Um, and then I'm going to create, let's say, I'm going to click on the Insert tab, and I'm going to insert uh, a new two-column tab. And actually, let me do a one-column tab. We don't even need a two-column tab, so let me just go in here. Actually, should we leave the two-column tab? So you could tell that I'm free-flowing this because I don't have any written thing up front. I'm just kind of doing it right off the bat. All right, let's add a two-column tab, and we're going to call this tab. Oh, we have a second window in the background. We'll call this tab dates. Why not? Just going to give it a name. And in dates, I'm just going to take expiration date and just stick it in there. And we'll want to collect the email address also. I'm just going to put it in right below the vendor type. Why not? And let's click on our header. And in header, I want to be able to see the status of this, whether it's active or not active. I'll also like to see the owner. And let's add the budget in there as well. Having a header and a footer is nice because you can enter a bunch of fields in here that are static. They'll always be there. You'll see them pop up at the very top or the very bottom of your form. And in the bottom and the footer, I'll just put in here the name and the status. That's it. Simple as that. I mean, there's really not much more I'm going to add to this. Now imagine you're a company and you really need like a lot of fields. You're collecting a lot of information. You could be working with different clients and you have so many different sales stages. You have like sell stage 1 where you ask a particular set of questions, and you have sell stage 2 where you need even more fields. You'll be creating entities. Or you'll be using one entity with a giant, huge list. And it's actually not that bad because you can always collapse these. But I just wanted to show you guys how to create an entity. So I'm going to go and click on the Home tab, and I'm going to click on Save, and I'm going to click on Publish, and I'm going to make this live. I want to make this entity be really alive, meaning I'm going to be able to actually use it right now. So now I'm done. So with that said, I'm going to close my customization window, and I'm going to click on Back to my workplace. And you'll see that nothing showed up here yet until I refresh my window, which is when it's going to pull up this brand new entity. And you'll see right here it created a brand new extension called Vendors. And there's actually a really nice sitemap editor by Codeplex, which allows us to actually give this an icon and move it under customers. I'm not going to get to that yet either. I just wanted, again, to show you how to create a simple entity. So let's go to Vendors, and you'll see here I have absolutely no information about vendors. And I'm going to click on New. And I'm going to create a brand new vendor. So here's the fields that we originally created. Let's say we're going to call this vendor test 123. The vendor type, the default type is new vendor. Let's say the budget, which is a required field, I'm going to make 2,500. And for email address, I'm just going to put in my email address just for the heck of it. And for expiration date, I'm going to bubble in, let's say, the 1st. Really should have made this 2 columns, you see, because it became so narrow, but that's fine. I'm going to go to notes, and I'm just going to add in here a new note. This is a test run, period. I'm not going to attach a file to this. I'm just going to click on done, and I'm going to save and close this. And you'll see that now I have a brand new vendor called test 123. Now I'm also able to customize the view here. Suppose in active vendors I want to be able to see more things right on the live view, on the list view. When I click on it, I don't want to have to click in on each and every one. I'll be able to add columns. You see this add columns button. The way the views work in CRM is you add columns to the view that you'd like to see, and every column is pertaining to a field. So suppose I want to see the budget, and I want to see the vendor type in the list view. Let me add the vendor type over here after the name. And then we'll leave created on and budget where they are. Actually, we'll put created on at the very end. And I'm going to save and close this. So now that I have that, I'm going to publish it again. Remember, after every change you make, you always want to publish your customizations or publish just the entity. All customizations relate to every change you made in CRM. Publish entity is just for that one particular entity you're working on. So I created a brand new view now. I'm just going to refresh my page. Let's go back to it. And it's going to pull out my vendors again. So let me click on vendors, and you'll see that now my view, I can see the budget when I created this vendor and the vendor type. Additionally, I can create more views to filter only new vendors or only create certain things. So let's create a new vendor again. This one I'll call 123 test. And suppose that this vendor is an existing vendor. I'm going to give it another email address. I'll give it mine again. Why not? And for the budget, let's give it $50,000. It'll automatically be formatted by CRM. It adds a decimal right before the sent amount, adds a comma after 1,000, etc. And the expiration date, we're going to do 1 year from today. Let's go to 2014, January 1st. Why not? And again, in notes, I'm just going to enter another note here. This is a test. And I'm going to save and close this vendor, and you'll see that it immediately gets pulled in here, and my new entity is already beginning to have data in it. So you'll see here that I created a small little container for this particular information, and I'm always able to modify this. Now you actually can continue modifying this just by opening a standard vendor form. Just open any record, click on Customize on the very top ribbon, and choose Customize Form. Now at this point, you'll actually be able to move fields around all over again or add new fields and so on and so on, and just create your own machine. You can create your own, for data capture, you can create your own forms, and it's so wonderful to be able to do that. Now, CRM is extremely powerful. Creating an entity is just it's just the tip of the iceberg of what you can do, because you can always go to form properties here, and you can add form libraries, which is JavaScripts, to here, and you can create alerts, and you can do a lot of good stuff. But I'm not going to get to that just yet. I don't want to throw this video topic off, but again, you have so many different things here that you can create in so many fields, and it's really, really a wonderful thing. Once you save it and publish it, it becomes live, and as it becomes live, you'll be able to actually use it and work with other people. You can actually even add an activity to it. Remember when we created this entity, we had a bunch of checkboxes for numerous things. So one of them was activities, and I'll just quickly show you what that does as well. In test 123, which is a new vendor, I'm going to click on add. I'm going to add an activity. Let's say I'm going to add in here an appointment, and I'm going to add an appointment regarding test 123, and it's going to be a meeting about a closing, and the location will be my office. We're not going to add any contracts or anything of that matter. We're not going to add pretty much anything in here except the start time and the start date. So the meeting is for tomorrow, the 23rd, and it's going to be in the AM hours between 8 a.m. and 8:30 p.m. Showtime is busy on my calendar. The priority will be high. Why is the priority high? Because this will be a very important meeting. I don't want to miss it. Some meeting notes will go here as you type them. Save and close this, and now you'll know that on this particular contact, this, I wouldn't even call it a contact. It's a vendor. It's not even a contact. It's its own entity. So now when you go to test 123, you can actually click on activities, and you'll see that you have a meeting about a closing, high priority, and that'll also be showing all over your workplace. I believe it should also appear in your dashboard. On my own premise CRM actually appears in my dashboard. I actually have a calendar also. It's a really, really wonderful thing. Only thing I don't like about the online version is that it does tend to lag a little bit. There is lag in here, and it's pretty annoying. Let me see what kind of dashboard come out of the box. I also have no idea whether they have absolutely no good dashboards in here. Well, we have the CRM overview. I'm not going to go with the social overview, but as I log in with this dashboard, I'm able to see right away what my appointments are. I'm able to see all my activities. If I schedule a phone call activity or an email activity, anything of that nature, it'll appear in my live dashboard. And this is it. This is all I really wanted to show you guys. I wanted to show you how to create a new entity. So when you first get CRM, and CRM is for 30 days, you can try it for free. Um, you're going to look at this stuff and you're going to say to yourself, well, I don't need contacts, I don't need accounts, or cases, queues, articles. I don't need all this stuff. My company uses totally different things. We have a whole other cycle, not similar to any other business cycle. Well, CRM made it easy to tailor fit these kind of things. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you create a trial version, you can play around with this, and you can develop many, many, many different kind of entities. It's a really, really wonderful thing, and it's really, really good. Thank you for watching. Bye.